They built a tower to replace God. For one moment, humanity was perfectly unified, speaking one language, pursuing one dream. Then God spoke one sentence, and everything fell apart. So after the flood, humanity got a second chance, a clean slate. 8 people survived, and now they're repopulating the earth. Genesis 9 tells us God blessed Noah and his sons and said, "Be fruitful and increase in number and fill the earth." Fill the earth. That was the command. Spread out, multiply, fill every corner of the planet. But here's the thing about humans. We don't like being told what to do, even by God. Genesis 11:2 says, "As people moved eastward, they found a plain in Shinar and settled there." Settled. They stopped. They weren't supposed to settle, they were supposed to scatter. But they looked at this fertile plain and said, "This is perfect. Why would we leave?" And so they stayed, all of them, in one place. One massive civilization. And here's what made them so powerful. Genesis 11:1 says, "Now the whole world had one language and a common speech." One language. Think about that. No language barriers, no miscommunication, no lost in translation. When someone had an idea, everyone understood it immediately. It was humanity at peak efficiency, peak unity, peak cooperation. And that should have been beautiful, right? Unity is good. Communication is good. Working together is good. Except they were unified for the wrong purpose. Genesis 11:3-4 records the conversation that changed everything. They said to each other, "Come, let us make bricks and bake them thoroughly." Now this doesn't sound that dramatic, but it was actually revolutionary. They weren't using stone, they were manufacturing bricks, mass production, standardized building materials. They were advancing, inventing, progressing, and they used those bricks to build cities, markets, homes. Civilization was booming, but it wasn't enough. They said, "Come, let us build ourselves a city with a tower that reaches to the heavens, so that we may make a name for ourselves. Otherwise, we will be scattered over the face of the whole earth." And here's the kicker. They knew what God told them to do. Scatter, fill the earth. But they're saying, "No, we are staying together. We are staying powerful. We don't need God's plan. We have our own." And so they built, and built, and built. Archaeologists believe this was a ziggurat, a massive stepped pyramid tower common in ancient Mesopotamia. Not just a tower, a temple, a man-made mountain reaching toward heaven. This wasn't some primitive structure. This was advanced architecture, engineering, mathematics. This was humanity showing what it could do when fully unified and focused. And the higher it grew, the more confident they became. Look what we can do. We don't need God. We have each other. We can reach heaven on our own terms. And that's when God looked down. Genesis 11:5 says, "But the Lord came down to see the city and the tower the people were building." God came down to see the tower that was supposed to reach up to heaven. They're building a tower to reach God. And it's so small, he has to come down just to see it. But God wasn't just looking at bricks and mortar. He was looking at hearts. And what he saw wasn't good. Then God says, If, as one people speaking the same language, they have begun to do this, then nothing they set out to do will be impossible for them. Think about what God just said. Nothing will be impossible for them. So God does something that seems cruel, but is actually mercy. He confuses their language. Genesis 11:7 says, God confused their language. Not gradually, not over time, instantly. 1 second, you're speaking the same language as everyone you know. The next second, you can't understand your own brother. Imagine the chaos. You're working on a massive construction project. You need to coordinate with thousands of people. And suddenly, nobody understands anybody. An architect tries to give directions. The builders have no idea what he's saying. A foreman shouts for more bricks. The workers hear gibberish. Families can't understand each other. Friends become strangers. The entire society fractured in minutes. And the tower? Construction stopped immediately. You can't build a tower when the guy handing you bricks doesn't understand more to the left. Genesis 11:8. So the Lord scattered them from there over all the earth, and they stopped building the city. They scattered, not because God forced them at gunpoint, but because they couldn't function together anymore. But here's the truth about this story. God didn't scatter them because he wanted them divided. He scattered them because he wanted them to fill the earth, which was his original plan all along. Think about it. Every language, every culture, every tribe and nation, they exist because God valued diversity over uniformity. Linguists tell us there are over 7,000 languages in the world today. They all trace back to this moment, to Babel. Genesis 11:9 says, "That is why it was called Babel, because there the Lord confused the language of the whole world." So what's the lesson? Unity without God isn't strength, it's Babel. Making a name for ourselves isn't legacy, it's confusion. And every time we try to build our kingdoms instead of his, we're right back in Shinar, laying bricks, building towers, speaking the same language as everyone around us who's also trying to be their own God. But here's the hope. God scattered them at Babel, but he promised to gather them again at the cross. Revelation 7:9. A great multitude that no one could number, from every nation, from all tribes and peoples and languages, standing before the throne. That's the name that lasts forever, not ours, but his. Stop building towers, start building altars. Stop trying to make a name for yourself, start making his name known, because the only tower that reaches heaven already came down to earth, and his name is Jesus. Next time, we're meeting a man who will change everything. A man God calls out of his homeland, promising to make him the father of nations. His name is Abraham, and his story is where everything starts coming together. If you're following this Old Testament journey, subscribe and hit that bell. We're just getting started. What surprised you about Babel? Did you know this is where all the languages came from? Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.